Welcome to the Welsh Yogi Podcast.
Right, welcome to Welsh Yogi Podcast. We're a bit out of practice because
Bhakti.
we haven't done a podcast in ages, like a few months, right?
I think so.
2 months?
Feels like a long time. Probably longer.
But because the planets, astrologically, is a tough sign at the minute. And I don't know if you can tell by looking at us. It's
We've been hit hard.
So we've got some
The mode's ready to go.
microphones aren't working.
Yeah.
This
I
machine.
literally just dropped the tripod for this just broke.
Yeah.
So
Machine's not working.
I guess you have to bear with us, innit?
Yeah.
But
But anyway, we're gonna get back on track.
Yeah.
There's a speech by some Navy guy about making a bed in the morning, you know?
I've seen it.
That's quite good. But then, we're going to go off on track again, aren't we?
So
They talk about make your bed in the morning, sort of thing that, what's his name? John Peterson, whatever, says. And it's like a common thing if you have depression and that, apparently. It's a lot of cognitive behavioural therapy and that, make your bed in the morning. It seems quite trivial, but having these little goals and doing something and then going from one goal to the next, just being a little productive.
oh yeah.
It's helpful. Something like that. Do you see that?
It's vital, isn't it?
Do you see the same talk with the
big guy with the hat, the Navy guy.
Yeah, and then he's on about
Yeah, you had your
Other
first
stuff,
victory of the day. Like once you've made your bed, you've it's a victory.
yeah.
But yeah, it is like that. I tidied my room the other day and it was like,
Good. Because I got no victories in a minute.
is it?
Not right now. I don't think. I think doing this podcast will be a victory.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And so what were you going to say? You were talking about something.
Jordan Peterson. You know Jordan Peterson is a he only eats meat.
He only eats meat.
He only eats meat. He's a carnivore. Like he's
I don't believe that.
honestly, because he had some problem. And
Only eats meat.
I've seen videos where he's talking about like everyone should just eat beef. That's why I've said that to a couple of devotees now because we do.
A demon.
That's what I mean. It's a bit. Who only eats meat? Like anyway, we gotta have a couple of veggies in there. But he's got some condition where he only eats meat.
Mm-hmm. A tiger. A cat.
Yeah.
Cat's a carnivore, isn't it? If you have a pet cat, you can't make it.
You can't have a vegan cat, can you?
Yeah, can't have a vegetarian cat. Because we tried during the lockdown. There's a cat that was just wandering into our house, and I sort of wanted to keep it. Even though it's not mine, but it's just everybody just loves having a pet. So it come to our house, and then because I wanted to feed it prashadam, but I found out that they're carnivores. So like you can have a vegetarian dog, because they're omnivores, but cats are
Straight up carnivores.
yeah.
Well, not all devotees are vegetarian.
Yeah.
Like Garuda will eat snakes.
Yeah, that's why there's a difference in it because you got like what is prescribed as your food. You don't incur sin by doing that then because that's the sort of body you're in. So like a tiger doesn't get sin for obviously killing an animal, you know.
Yeah.
But if you have a higher consciousness, and you have to be quite sure.
With great power comes great responsibility, isn't it?
Uncle Ben. Yeah. So we were doing nectar of instruction, right?
We were.
And I'm sure we went halfway through the first verse.
Maybe, yeah. Look at that.
What's that?
I say every time, if you watch a video, I read this book 10 times in a marathon, and I was going through and writing notes, like underlining things and writing notes. And I was thinking, is it bad to write notes in these books? Because they're meant to be sacred books. Like, I was thinking, like, I've been putting pencil notes in it. And then, maybe the next day after I thought that, I was on the train, on the way back from somewhere on Sankirtan, and some guy I was reading this book, and some guy next to me just tapped me on the shoulder, and he goes, "Excuse me." I was like, "Yeah." He said, "That book you're reading, it's beautiful." And I was like, and I had one in my pocket there, and I was just like, "There you go, have one." Boom. Like it was immediate. But basically, he had read over my shoulder something like that I'd underlined. I'm trying to find it now. And because I was basically, whenever something like hit me, you know when you're reading Prabhupada's books and something jumps off the page and you're just like, whoa, that is profound. Every time that happened in the marathon, I just underlined it so I could save it almost.
So that's why I used to enjoy reading with a Kindle, because I highlight stuff.
Yeah, but this is what he read over my shoulder. If consciousness is aimed towards material enjoyment, it's material consciousness. And if it's aimed towards serving Krishna, it's Krishna consciousness. And he said, "I'm a Christian." and I've never heard truer words. Like, it was just so amazing. Like, distribute a book for my annotations. But that was a nice confirmation that you can actually, if you respectfully underline with pencil these books, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
If they are, I'd be in Potter annoyed if someone took a book off me.
No, it's my one, like, you know.
Yeah.
I love it then. You care for the book more then, because it's like...
In fact, actually, that was my first nectar instruction book. It was from a devotee called Sada Shiva. It was a real nice story. And it had all of his underlining and notes and stuff.
Wow.
So it's quite handy, because I was really new as well. I was brand new and I had nectar instruction, so I was reading it. And it's quite handy because certain things were underlined and there's like a pen pointing to it and like an arrow pointing to certain stuff. And so when we did the Bhakti course then, when we did the course on the nectar of instruction, I had like extra little notes and stuff. So
yeah, it's good. I think it's to be actively reading the books is better than just passively going through the pages, from my experience recently.
Yeah.
Trying to extract something which you can apply, you know, or something that you want to think about later and write little notes and study the books, you know.
Yeah. Well, they say this. So they say there's a high Bhakti Thakur was one of the what was it? Bhakti yoga spiritual teachers or whatever. Yeah, he was. That's one of the things he was saying about purposeful listening. So just passive listening is one thing, but if you listen with like almost like to study, then it's a higher quality. So it's about then when it comes to like spiritual literature, then it more effectively does things like clean your heart and
especially if you find something that you want to, like, because I remember in the marathon you were asking us about sadhya and sadhana.
Yeah.
Like, I think you were studying something deep, right? I don't know. But like...
Yeah. Well, I wrote to Shiva Maharaj, our spiritual guru, and just wrote a few things. And I can't remember, but I said I read the Bhagavatam, I don't know, like 6 times or something. So he's like, oh, well, you're reading the book. That's what ideal life is, reading the books and distributing the books. And so we've read Bhagavatam so many times. What is the perfection? What is the perfection that it presents, and the method on how to get it? Yeah, something like that. So
Test.
Like,
pop quiz.
Yeah, exactly like that. So what? I was asking some of the other devotees, and they would say, "Oh, but just say chant Hare Krishna and get love for Krishna."
Yeah.
But they did Shiva Maharaj he wants a much more deeper, scientific, like he wants a very deep answer. So I replied something that just what I knew from his explaining everything, and how we want to get awaken spontaneous love for Krishna in a certain Krishna in a certain mood, and Vrindavan with a certain relationship, etc. Anyway, I wrote like a whole thing, and he said, "You're in the right direction. But that's not everything."
Whoa, it's like Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah, I want to speak to him because he said, so I wrote a message back asking like, what have I missed? And he said, we'll speak when we next see each other, we'll speak or something. Yeah?
Wow.
Because I put a lot in there, I put about the things that he would be right. So I don't know if everyone listens to this podcast, just to, I guess, orientate everyone a little bit, just so it's not so too esoteric. Because there's, I guess, at first in spiritual life, like Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says the difference between the body and the soul, right? So it's like first basic instruction. Okay, I'm not this body. I'm a conscious being and made up of spiritual energy, not material, etc. But that's not even scratching the surface of the spiritual life. Then when Krishna goes, because that's the very start, and Krishna goes so deep in the Bhagavad Gita into spiritual life, and so then you want to awaken spiritual love. What is that love? And that love is specific. Is it love for us, for God? But what aspect of God? And out of that love inspires you from service. What kind of service? And so it can get very, very specific and technical, because that's self-realization. So self-realization, if you know about yourself, you do very accurately. So when you're talking about your real identity as your eternal spirit, soul identity, then there's so much like so I put in everything that I thought should go in, but so I'm wondering what I missed. I didn't.
Did you listen to any of his recent podcasts? Because he's been asking a lot of devotees the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, there was one I just listened to recently. like this morning.
I was just haven't you?
He was talking to an elderly lady.
You know, he's getting a lot in Chaitanya Charitamrita. They ask they ask Lord Chaitanya, what's the perfection of life and how do I attain it? Which is such a perfect question, really. You know, what's the best thing I can do in life and how do I get there? So what were you saying in the podcast? He was asking her the same question, and he was like, it was a really simple answer. Maybe you have to listen to it. It's probably too esoteric for Welsh Yogi Podcast, maybe. I mean, it's too esoteric for me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I couldn't understand it, but like, it's interesting. Like, but bring up is like when you have some kind of question that you want answered. I feel like you can really search for it in these books in one sense. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, I have this PDF of this book that's coming out this year called Questions. The 4 questions. And Vaisheshika Prabhu, who's also another yogi teacher, talks about questions are the answer. So, I mean, maybe it'll be good to actually go through in the podcast sometime.
Yeah.
Because it's in different sections.
Should we do it now? Oh, wait, it's not released. Is it released yet? We'll be leaking it.
I got the.
We're leaking it.
Yeah.
Let's leak it.
Really, it's like hot.
Let's leak it. Go well.
I'm not going to leak it properly, but we are going to hear
it's
something
like
that's not released.
Unreleased.
But I could get in trouble for sharing this.
Yeah, but we've got our listeners are. They're cool. They ain't snitches, are they?
No, I mean there's nothing worse, is there?
Snitches get stitches.
But okay, I'm trying and find it. But we're not reading it, but just because we're getting into this idea. I mean, it does relate to nectar instruction because we'll find out now. But here we go. Yeah, I got a PDF copy of the manuscript, and it's not printed yet.
You can't buy it in the shops, like
no. Soon this year, when it's released, we'll get lots of them and distribute them mildly,
profusely.
Yeah, because they're really nice. But at the minute, I got hot off the press. Yeah, I might get in deep trouble for sharing this.
Please don't sue us.
It's a secret. This is a secret knowledge. You know.
Don't sue us.
But so this is a verse right from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a bit of yoga wisdom for you. So I'm going to read it and I want to hear just initial reactions.
Okay.
I haven't finished this book. I only read the first half.
You read it to us in class, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't even read. I only read a few pages.
Just scratch the surface.
Just as a deer. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 7:13-29. I like saying like this. We don't often say like this together.
It's cute, isn't it? I haven't seen him in a while. That's good.
Just as a deer, because of ignorance, cannot see the water within a well covered by grass, right? But runs after water elsewhere, the living entity covered by the material body does not see the happiness within himself, but runs after happiness in the material world.
Wait.
I'm going to read it one more time, okay?
Yeah.
Just as a deer, because of ignorance, cannot see the water within a well covered by grass.
The water's there, but it cannot see it because it's covered by grass.
What you just said.
Yeah, I just needed to...
Just as a deer...
You know when you have to chew something?
Because of ignorance, cannot see the water within a well covered by grass.
Because it's covered.
But runs after water elsewhere. The living entity covered by the material body,
which is like the grass,
does not see the happiness within himself, but runs after happiness in the material world. Okay. So, wisdom traditions throughout the world share a common thread. They remind us that we can look here, there, and everywhere for happiness outside of ourselves, but the ultimately true happiness can be found only when we look within. A musk deer spends his whole life looking for the source of the heady scent that comes from himself. He looks in caves and on tops of hills and along waterways, all the while unaware that the scent is coming from his own navel. We human beings are similarly absorbed. We seek pleasure externally, unaware that the source of our happiness is within ourselves. We are not material beings. We are non-material sentient parts of our source, or Krishna. Krishna, the Sanskrit name for the Supreme, means all attractive. All energies come from Krishna. The happiness we seek is available in Krishna, and every living being has a relationship with Krishna. Because Krishna is fully blissful, and we are part of him, we are also naturally blissful. We needn't look far to find happiness. We are happy by constitution. Most yoga classes today emphasize physical postures and breathing. These are but two small preliminary aspects of ancient yoga practice called Ashtanga, the Eightfold Path. According to the source wisdom, yoga is a complete system seen as a ladder that one ascends, purifying one's consciousness in the step-by-step process of awakening one's original pure consciousness, which is eternal, full of knowledge, and blissful. Okay, so he starts talking about yoga, Bhakti yoga, Patanjali and his yoga sutras, things like this. This is like you're trying to, if people are interested in spiritual life, just introducing to them actually what does yoga mean.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
What's the book called?
It's called 4 Questions.
And if you want to pre-order 4 Questions, who do you get in touch with?
Us. Because we're all just
Plugging it.
So this is what I'm getting at, because it's really active instruction. Because if you want to practice spiritual life and active instruction, it's like, okay, here's the step-by-step guide on how to start. But the most powerful punctuation mark.
Mm-hmm.
Punctuation marks do practical work. A period stops us. A colon announces upcoming information. A comma divides data. But the most powerful punctuation is the question mark. It's shaped like a hook. And with it, you can catch people's attention. You can snag ideas from the depths of your subconscious. It can take you beyond the mundane to the metaphysical. With a question, you can discover truths of ancient wisdom, investigate your own heart, and discover your true eternal nature as an individual conscious being. In his article, Self-Actual Engineer, Professor Thomas P. Sage of Arizona State University writes, "Too often we underestimate the importance of understanding our question. When you get lost in your search for knowledge, ask yourself, what question was I trying to answer? And see if that helps you find your way again." Playwright Eugene Ionesco ventures, "It is not the answer that enlightens, but the question." So it goes on a lot more. That's the thing. In Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, wanted to find the meaning of life, and it was 42. And then the next, meaning of life is 42. So then the next quest was, what was the question that inspired that answer? So I think it goes hand in hand of, okay, what's the right, we come into this world, what's the right question to ask?
Quest.
Yeah.
Like a question will send you on a quest.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why let's do this. Sick. For Nectar Instruction, you can go on a quest with this book for sure. Like, how do I become more established in my spiritual life? Like, how do I become more firmly rooted? Because definitely at first, when you first get into spiritual life, you can be up and down, come really close, come to temple all week, every day of the week. Then next week, you're like, I don't want to go near the temple. And, this is a common phenomenon. What do they call it? Anishta. Kriya, unsteady devotional service. So for me, like, I've been studying this Nectar Instruction as a means of becoming more steady, and definitely the first verse goes into that. I don't know, maybe we can
just review the first verse again. Just let's get back into it. We were going through it, right? But then we sort of
just read some of it, is it? We've definitely done the intro.
Yeah. You read the first. Vancha Vegam, Rasa Kroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Upakar Vegam, Ikan Vegam, Yoga, Dira, Sarvam, Upam, Prishim, Shashat.
A sober person who could tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Yeah, we definitely read that.
Yeah. I remember because we started discussing a few things, but we did do a podcast, but
it got corrupted and
yeah.
Real atonement.
Yeah,
I love that. Should I just read this? I think we could just read this.
Yeah, right.
It's really good. So basically, Prabhupada, we're going to jump into the purport, but Prabhupada was talking about the elephant and how the elephant bathes, and then as soon as he gets out of the water, he again throws dust upon himself. And he was comparing that a Christian or not a Christian, but like a religious person that does their religious practice, and then as soon as their religious practice is over, they go away and they continue to commit like sinful activities or irreligious activities, is the same as that elephant. So it's not real atonement, like it's actually false atonement. Like forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I did this, that, and the other. And then as soon as you've confessed, you go back out and do this, that, and the other again. So this section of the purport is, I think it's jumped off the page at me a couple of times. Like, real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this there's a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. A human being is meant to be trained according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. Such a methodical life is described as tapasya. One can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge or Krishna consciousness by practicing austerity and celibacy, brahmacharya, by controlling the mind and by controlling the senses, by giving up one's possessions in charity, by being avowedly truthful, by keeping clean, practicing yoga asanas. However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a pure devotee, he can easily surpass all the practices for controlling the mind by the mystic yoga process, simply by following the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness, refraining from illicit sex, meat-eating, intoxication and gambling, and by engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord, under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. This easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. Interesting.
Yeah. I was reading yesterday morning with Calvin about being Chaitanya Charitamrita and about different stages of spiritual life. Yeah. So, one of the things was good is this is why, if you actually want to practice spiritual life seriously, nectar of instruction is such an important place to go, because it initially starts off, you got to learn to control your lifestyle, regulate yourself, and at first, even though it's difficult with regulation, then one's heart starts to become purified by regulation in yoga practice, and as one's heart's purified, then one starts to actually get real bliss and ecstatic taste for actually hearing and chanting about anything spiritual. So the heart becomes softened by various tastes.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking that because it starts, Prabhupada also in the purport here, he's talking about just these basic sort of building blocks of spiritual life. And why nectar instruction is pretty far out is because it starts here, but then it takes you up. Like we probably mentioned this on the podcast to do the introduction, but it goes, you go from, start trying to practice social service or spiritual life, just I got to chant, I got to do this, but then eventually it ends up in real like love, and some of the last verses in nectar instruction are actually really deep, like so deep, there's only probably limited way we can talk about them with any like depth of realization, but it's pretty.
I think that's one thing which is kind of like an advantage to all of the books that we have in this path of spiritual life, is it's so like methodically described. Like it's so scientific. Yeah, it's a science,
and you can
diagnose a person.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You see all the different, by reading nectar of instruction and understanding these books, you can speak to someone who's practicing spiritual life and pinpoint, this is what stage you're at. This is what stage you're at. This is what you need to do to get to the next level. And people on different levels of spiritual life have different things that we need to work on. And so and that's what makes it. It's not just like you're just on your own and believe and you just fumble around a path and everyone's sort of like a free spirit, but actually it's it's much more like a school or some sort of system of education.
Methodical, systematic life. Yeah. It's a lifestyle, like systematic.
Yeah. And like if you go to a teacher and say, I'm doing an experiment, but I'm not getting the same result as everyone else in the classroom. So you go to the teacher and say, why is that? Teacher, your Bunsen burner's not high enough, or you haven't got this chemical. So you're practicing, you see other people, or even if you read the examples of yogis and other spiritual practitioners, you think, I'm not experiencing this. I mean, a lot of time I get people coming to me and saying, this chant and be happy book, this is freaking me out because exactly what it's saying, I'm doing it and it's working, So people freak out when it's, I found spiritual practice and actually real and it works. And it's freaking me out, because I didn't think these things existed.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so they can, so it's like a science. You can have a check and balance system and see where if something's going wrong, then you go to your spiritual teachers, you go to your guides, we consult the wisdom literature, and you think, what do I do? Where do I go from here now?
Yeah, and this is like this tapasya. This is the first step, I guess, controlling your mind and senses, and actually gaining the reins on what's happening. Because most of the time in life we're like bowling balls that are just bumping off the walls. Yeah, and maybe you'll hit a pin over. You get me?
Yeah.
But
That's why at first sometimes you got to try and control the externally, because sometimes it's easier to control the external aspect of it than the mental version or whatever. You know? So
connected.
Yeah. So in previous ages, you used to get karma and reaction to the things you thought. Yeah. So they say, you know, millennia ago, when society was more spiritually in tune, in the ancient civilizations, they explain how, like, if you thought about killing someone, you get the sinful reaction for killing someone. Like, but now in Kali Yuga, because this age is so fallen, you don't get reprimanded for what the mind comes out with. But obviously, it's dangerous. Whatever you start to think about, that's what you become absorbed on, and eventually you act in it. You know, but at least if we're trying to better ourselves, you can at least control your growth. At least control the actual yourself from actively doing it, and then work on the internals parallel to that.
This is what you just remind me under here underlined, basically saying the current civilization is misdirected, and I wrote, we are being directed by what we give our attention to. So modern civilization is misdirected because their attention is directing them in the wrong direction. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's attention is on the wrong, usually. Yeah, this kind of culture we live in is not set up for spiritual life at all, really.
No, so it's not even a culture. It's very generous to call it a culture.
Yeah.
It's just animal life. Everyone's like a dog just follows its nose, you know? So everyone's just... Because if you got no higher goal of life or higher spiritual aspiration or to be anything, if life is literally just like, I'm trying to enjoy myself as much as I can before I die, then that's the same as an animal life. You're just going to... That's like what really means like materialism. Or like, they call it physics. A lot of them call it physicalism now instead of materialism. I'm a physicalist, which means like I don't believe in the spiritual aspect of things, but I think everything is just.
I think that's definitely a benefit of making a leap towards Krishna. If you make that leap at some point in your life, you'll get the reciprocation where you'll be able to rise above that, following your nose like a dog. Yeah. At least maybe even if you get it for a week or something.
Well, they say that's why there's a benefit even to have any, if you're religious at all, even like a Christian or most people, even that helps progress you because you've got a higher standard by which you are changing your life to. Yeah. So that could be the case.
But it's interesting because when you get that kind of knowledge and perspective on yourself, you can actually witness yourself doing things that you don't want to do, if you know what I mean. Like, you're like, wait, why am I doing this? And you can't stop it. You can feel the momentum of your uncontrolled mind and senses getting.
That's what June says. If engaged by what makes us do these bad, what makes us do these bad things that we don't do, as if engaged by force. Yeah. In Krishna's karmation correlation, last only Arjuna is the sinful enemy of this world. So it's like you're just forced to. Addicts would understand this. Like, I don't want, logically in my head, I do not want to do this. But something is just pushing me to do it. Yeah. And that's the lower modes of material nature. That's lust and this disease of the heart that is meant to be gradually removed. And as Nectar of Instruction talks about, as that dust is gradually removed by hearing and chanting, then concurrently with the fever of material life going down, is attraction for spiritual life really hikes up.
Interesting. So yeah, we could finish there and do another episode another time, I think.
Yeah. No, we need to start getting back into the routine again.
Nice.
I guess, and I get in touch with our beautiful listeners.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I don't know if I like it. I mean, not everyone can. You should put the video on, I guess, but. I don't know if I don't really. I'm trying not to look at myself.
I can.
I hate listen to myself as well.
I could put filters on it.
I saw something there. If you see a picture, because every time you look at your reflection, you're, what's the word, inverted or, you always see yourself the wrong way around.
Yeah. So this is.
Well,
this is what I see in the mirror.
This is what you see in the mirror, is it?
I don't know. Is that on that side?
You see this? You see me in the mirror?
I see you.
I'm in the mirror. Okay. We've been Welsh Yogi Podcast, and Hare Krishna. We'll see you again to continue text 1 and venture into text 2 and keep on Open track, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Madhya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarina Madhya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarina